France recognizes Palestinian state amid mounting international pressure. Paris, in a bold diplomatic move. French President Emmanuel Macron announced that France has officially recognized Palestine as a sovereign state, becoming the first G7 country to do so. The decision, shared on Macron's official X, formerly Twitter account, was framed as a step in line with France's long-standing commitment to promoting lasting peace in the Middle East, according to French diplomatic sources. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has been formally notified of the decision. While Macron's move was applauded in some circles, it sparked sharp criticism in both Israel and the United States. A reporter from Al Jazeera described the reaction in Israel as one of clear disapproval. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio condemned the decision as reckless, arguing that it served as mere propaganda for Hamas and undermined ongoing peace efforts. In response to the escalating crisis in Gaza, Macron held an emergency phone call with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. According to British sources, it was Starmer who initiated the call, declaring that the suffering and starvation in Gaza were indescribable and indefensible. The leaders reportedly discussed urgent measures to halt the bloodshed and deliver humanitarian aid, including food and medical supplies. The involvement of Chancellor Scholz in this conversation is particularly notable. Germany has traditionally adopted a cautious stance on Middle Eastern affairs, shaped largely by its historical responsibility stemming from the Holocaust. Yet, domestic political pressure is mounting. Members of Scholz's own Social Democratic Party, SPD, a key coalition partner, are now calling for clearer consequences for Israel's military actions. Recent weeks have shown signs of a rhetorical shift in Scholz's position. In a government statement delivered in May, he reaffirmed Germany's unconditional solidarity with Israel, while simultaneously urging all parties to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. Later, in a digital conference, Scholz went further, openly criticizing Israel's military campaign and questioning the clarity of its objectives. However, when EU member states recently issued a joint statement calling for an immediate ceasefire, Germany's name was conspicuously absent. Whether Scholz will now pivot toward a firmer stance, alongside France and the UK, remains uncertain. Meanwhile, peace negotiations in Qatar appear to be faltering. Both the US and Israel have recalled their delegations from ongoing talks with Hamas, citing a lack of seriousness from the militant group. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff claimed that Hamas was showing no real interest in a ceasefire. According to Israeli officials, progress was made during 18 days of indirect negotiations, the longest such talks to date. But a final breakthrough remains elusive. The sticking points reportedly include disputes over the number of Palestinian prisoners Israel would release in exchange for hostages, and Israeli military presence in buffer zones during a potential temporary truce. Although the negotiations have not been officially abandoned, both the U.S. and Israel are now reevaluating their strategies, raising concerns about the future of the dialogue. Hamas and mediators from Qatar and Egypt expressed surprise at the sudden withdrawal, believing that further progress was still possible. Into this complex and volatile environment, Macron's recognition of Palestine has thrown a diplomatic wrench. Although more than 3/4 of the world's nations already recognize a Palestinian state, the move by a major Western power like France has struck a nerve in Israel, especially amid a tense geopolitical climate. This hits hard. One correspondent in Tel Aviv noted, France was considered an ally. If other European powers follow, it could leave Israel increasingly isolated. Public protests continue to erupt in Israel, fueled not only by the ongoing war, but also by growing frustration with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's leadership. Many Israelis feel abandoned by Europe and believe that external pressure is empowering Hamas to demand more in the negotiations. As France takes a historic step, and Germany and the UK reassess their roles, the international diplomatic landscape around Gaza is shifting rapidly and significantly. If you find this video interesting, please subscribe.